Nearly avoiding disaster. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Let's get right into it. Mind your ears as I boot up Higurashi. I've settled on what we're doing today. We're reading Higurashi for 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't know, something around that. And then we're gonna play, Death Stranding. After that, into the night. And it'll be a fun Saturday. But first we read. Lots of shit happening in this arc. Tomoe, Minai, dead, killed, murdered, seemingly because she was getting into the investigation when all she wanted to do was protect Natsumi. Natsumi going full crazy mode, seemingly by the syndrome, what have you. The rest of the investigation team saying we're gonna still keep, we gotta do this. I think last stream was that from high up, our guy Akasaka was told that he was being taken off the investigation, a command from up high, and he's like, I can't believe this. I think that's kind of where the dust has settled recently. So yeah, we will read. Like I said, for 2 or 3 hours, I think, here. That's the goal. That's the plan, and I'm sticking to it. The same day, somewhere in Kageboushi City, the dust coated the park in a blood-red hue, casting an eerie shadow on the premises. Well, what should I do? Oishi stood up from the park bench and crushed a cigarette under his foot. Even though he'd learned his suspicions were right on the mark, there was no satisfaction in it. Instead, a labored feeling weighed down on his shoulders and pushed on his entire body, making it hard to move. It happened completely by coincidence. He stopped by a restaurant to grab a late lunch, and by chance he noticed a TV broadcasting a daytime drama, with a bulletin message on the bottom of the screen. Woman's body found on Mountain Road in Gifu Prefecture, currently identifying. When he saw that message, Oishi immediately thought back to the investigation meeting from the other day. It's about the grandmother of the Kimiyoshi family, Aki. Apparently nobody has seen her for the past few days. So, I asked Tojo Kimiyoshi about it the other day. He confirmed that he traveled to the mountains in Gifu Prefecture on Sunday. He claimed he was out fishing. So you're saying there's a high probability that the suspect was being duplicitous, right, Hanada-kun? Oishi rushed to contact Kakuchi Station, but unfortunately all the investigators, including Akasaka, were out heading to the Kimiyoshi household. Madoka told him she was about to leave too. Thus, he had no choice but to directly contact the Gifu Prefectural Police about the woman's head discovered in the mountains. However, they refused to confirm any details on the grounds of confidentiality. It really hurts not having Tomoe-chan around at times like these. He knew it was too late now, but he was keenly aware of what a blessing her existence had been, and was frustrated by how vertically split the police departments had become. Each station had a limited scope of responsibility called a jurisdiction boundary. Simply put, it was their territory, and the vast majority of the people in those organizations had little respect for outsiders. So, even when speaking with fellow policemen, they'd be tight-lipped with details when dealing with anyone from outside their territory. Plus, it'd still be fine if he could blame himself, but as long as he was doing this investigation work through the goodwill of Kakuchi Station's chief Yamaoki, any wrong move Oishi made would likely cause problems for the station. He grew weary of that closed, troublesome system many years ago, but as a voluntary member of that society, he had no choice but to endure it. Well, it'd be problematic if they wanted all the details too. If he said, "I'd like to cooperate because I believe that's Aki Kimiyoshi's corpse," and they asked for his reason, how would he respond? Then, if he responded by telling them that she was a former Hinamazawa resident and may have been caught up in this incident as a victim of the curse, what would happen? It was easy to predict. Naturally, they'd be completely surprised and want to ask him for details about the situation. Then, the Gifu Prefectural Police would find out about the investigation that Oishi and the others were conducting, then convey that information to the higher-ups in command. That wouldn't even be funny. Even within Chief Yamaoki's Kakuji station, the number of people he was willing to collaborate with was dwindling because they couldn't distinguish ally from enemy. Another station couldn't be trusted. Indeed, Oishi had grown suspicious of the Gifu Prefectural Police since the nurse burning incident a while back. It was incredibly frustrating that the information he'd spent blood and tears to obtain had amounted to nothing in the face of people like that. As a result, Oishi couldn't reveal his true intentions and had to rely on vague excuses like it resembles a person from a search case. But naturally, he felt like he'd been snubbed, so much so that it made him angry enough he wished he could jump to the other end of the line and give those people a piece of his mind. Well, might be faster to ask them directly. After all, indirect attacks weren't Oishi's field of expertise. He had his fair share of confidence when it came to gradually cornering suspects while cutting off their path of retreat in one fell swoop. Either way, it was no longer the time to kick back and watch as things developed. When Oishi first contacted Natsumi Kimiyoshi, he saw her as an unfortunate victim who'd gotten mixed up in these incidents. However, after learning her past and discovering that her grandmother Aki Kimiyoshi may have fallen into the worst possible situation, he began to think it was the opposite. Natsumi Kimiyoshi almost certainly had some involvement in the incident, or at least knowledge of the circumstances, and if Tomoe's words were right, she looked completely different beneath the surface. So, to prevent any further tragedies, securing her as soon as possible was the top priority. It was probably going to be some time before the Gifu Prefectural Police determined the identity of Aki Kimiyoshi, so they wouldn't have a warrant to search the Kimiyoshi house until then, giving them all the more reason. That time lag was truly their last opportunity. If he squandered his time, it would be too late. Guess I should get going. He began walking down this path for the second time. Last time he came, he was struck by a sudden downpour and had to hurry out of there. That was when he met Natsumi for the first time, at the steps in front of the Kimiyoshi house. At the time, I thought she was just an ordinary girl. He had no way of knowing she was such a problematic child back in Okinomiya, or he just simply didn't have that information available to him. Even if she was a problem child, those were nothing unusual. Unless she'd gone on a rampage or formed a clique, the police would have no reason to get involved, and thus wouldn't be remembered. However, when it came to skipping school, in other words, lurking in the shadows, those kinds of kids were elusive. It would be exhausting to keep a constant eye on how kids acted in school in the first place. If anything, it was no concern of theirs what sickness she was being hospitalized for, or what treatment was being done. That sort of strict observation would make them an information-controlled totalitarian state. But, well, after a problem like this occurs, you start jumping at shadows. He suddenly muttered to himself, trying to think. The people behind the curse probably wanted to disseminate fear to the general public, so maybe they saw Natsumi Kimiyoshi as an ideal target? At least on the surface, Natsumi looked like an ordinary girl without any problems. If even a child like that got caught up in these tragedies caused by former Hinamazawa residents, or she herself caused one of the said tragedies, how would it change people's perception of Hinamazawa? Maybe people would see them like a bomb about to go off and avoid them like the plague. It could lead to discrimination and persecution as well. And then, the people from Hinamazawa would feel even more isolated from the world, which would drive them into hiding, burying the truth behind this curse and the disaster forever. Well played, shrewd bastards. As soon as the thought came to him, he let out a sigh. But what was the reason to make such a flashy display of the curse and then silence the voices of the non-believers? A total of 2,000 casualties seemed just too much, but Oishi-san couldn't comprehend why these people were trying to treat incidents in a small rural town like a major social phenomenon. Oh? He suddenly turned his gaze to the fountain in the park and noticed a girl in a familiar uniform talking to a male student. Even from this distance, that hairstyle was unmistakable. Natsumi Kimiyoshi. And the boy beside her.
Oh, あの時の.
Right, from back then. It was the boy who rescued her at the coffee shop on that rainy day a week ago. A boy with a strong glow in his eyes. Oishi was sure that Natsumi Kimiyoshi referred to him as Todo-kun. The conversation between the two of them echoed through the park, and with nobody else around, Oishi was able to hear some of it from a decent distance away.
大丈夫だよ、トド君。
It's fine, Todo-kun.
本当に何もなかったから。
Really, it's nothing.
君吉、話してくれ。
Kimiyoshi, please talk to me.
俺、もう嘘は聞きたくない。
I don't want to hear any more lies.
そしたら私もう何も話せなくなっちゃうな。
In that case, there's nothing left for me to say. Natsumi evasively laughed at the boy with a serious look on his face. Even without noticing Oishi's approach, the two of them stood there in the tense atmosphere. Based on the bags sitting by their feet, two of them were probably on the way home from school. And it was clear from the atmosphere that these two weren't just classmates, they were close. And Oishi realized that their closeness was contributing to the tense air that was forming between the two of them. Unable to find the words to speak to each other, the silence continued. Behind the silent air hid a truth that each of them wanted to hear, but they couldn't bring themselves to ask, and they didn't want to say anything more. Sensing that hesitation and rejection fluttering about, Oishi made up his mind and approached the two of them.
Yeah, 失礼.
Oh, pardon me.
こんにちは、Kimiyoshi-san.
Good evening, Kimiyoshi-san.
Eh?
Huh? When she finally sensed another person look back toward Oishi, Natsumi's complexion completely changed. And as he approached, she started looking more and more upset.
お取り込み中すみませんね。
Sorry for interrupting.
この前はどうも。大石です。
I'm sorry about before. I'm Oishi.
沖宮書房の大石。
Oishi from the Okinomiya bookstore. Still lying about that. Natsumi's shoulders were trembling, so the boy, Akira Todo, stood in front of Oishi to protect her.
おや、これはいつかの学生さん。
Oh, you're the student from the other day.
もしかしてお邪魔でしたか?
Am I disturbing you by any chance?
何か用ですか?
Do you need something?
特に用はないんですよ。
Nothing in particular.
あなたには。
From you? Carries the same energy as like, somebody call the ambulance, but not for me. That obvious provocation brought a look of fury to Akira's face.
若いな。それにしても。
He's young. But even so. Standing behind Akira, Natsumi looked unusually frightened. She had originally given off a meek impression, but that was far worse than when he met her before. Something that happened in the past week might have had a major influence on her. She was starting to look completely unstable, unable to handle the situation. No doubt, this girl was hiding something about the incident and about herself.
あれから何かお変わりありませんか?
Has anything changed since back then?
ああ、そうそう。
Oh, that's right.
実はですね、以前この公園で偶然こんなものを拾いましたね。
Actually, I picked up something in this park earlier.
ほら。
Here. Huh? Oishi held out the small pill case, and when Natsumi saw it, she lunged forward and snatched it away with a surprised expression on her face. Faced with that reaction, Oishi and Akira both looked back at her in shock.
君吉?
Kimiyoshi.
おやおや、やっぱりあなたのだったんですね。
Oh my, it was yours after all.
同姓同名かと思って警察に届けようと思っていたんですが、いやー、よかったよかった。
I was thinking about delivering it to the police since I noticed a familiar name, so I'm glad. No, gotcha.
要はそれだけですか?
Is that all you wanted?
なら、もう外してもらえませんか?
In that case, can we leave now?
俺、君吉とこれから出かける予定ですので。
I've plans to go out with Kimiyoshi after this. Despite a little bewilderment on his face, Kira confronted Oishi again out of concern for Natsumi. Standing behind him, she looked significantly more pale than earlier, and she was shivering.
学校とか近所の聞き込みでは引っ込み思案なおとなしい子だって話でしたが、
When I asked
わ
around
か
at
らないものです。
when I asked around at her school and her neighborhood, people described her as shy and docile girl, so I don't understand.
あんな風に土星を上げるほどに気が強いとはちょっと意外でした。
It's really surprising that she raised her voice and became aggressive like that. Oishi thought back to what Tomoe said and took another look at Natsumi, but there was no trace of that to be found in her now. Oishi didn't think Tomoe had been lying, but he still found it hard to believe. Even though Oishi had learned that she was originally a problem child, no one had ever testified that she was the kind of child capable of snapping. She was more the timid type, who would shut herself in and say nothing. In that case, what on earth was the Natsumi that Tomoe saw?
まあお邪魔でしたらさっさと退散しますけどね。
Well, if I'm in your way, I'll step aside.
あ、そういえば先ほどご自宅の前を通ったんですけど。
By the way, I passed in front of your house earlier,
へえ、塗り替えてましたね。
and the wall looked like it had been painted over.
なんかいたずら書きでもされちゃいました？
Did there used to be some kind of graffiti there?
ここ最近多いんですよね。壁にいたずら書きをされた家が。
There have been a lot of those around here lately. Houses with writing on the walls.
テレビとか雑誌で見たことありません？
Have you seen them on TV or in a magazine? Oishi offered a smile while carefully studying Natsumi's reaction. For a person capable of snapping, that obstinate way of talking would be infuriating. It wouldn't be too out of place here to catch a glimpse of her alternate face, like Akasuka and Tomoe were talking about. However,
魔除けのあれ。誰がお書きになったんでしょうね。
those ritualistic charms. I wonder who put them there.
ひょっとしてあなたのご家族が？
Maybe it was your family. Natsumi's trembling was growing more pronounced. Looking at her reaction, it was clear that she wanted to deny it, but she withdrew in on herself more and more.
ああ、そうそう。
Oh, that's right.
おばあちゃん、お元気ですか？
How was your grandma doing?
ご近所の方々が心配してましたよ。
The neighbors have been worried.
それは
That's...
ここ数日、お顔見てないって。
They haven't seen her around for the past few days.
どこかお出かけになっているんですか？
Did she go somewhere?
君吉
Kimiyoshi. Kira looked concerned as he turned towards Natsumi, but she stepped back as if in denial, shaking her head several times as her lips quivered.
東堂君、私
Todo-kun, I...
君吉
Kimiyoshi! But then Natsumi rushed away and escaped in no time. Even Oishi couldn't help but feel a little bewildered by that reaction.
やはり前の印象の通りだ。
No different from last time, after all. Even though she was in the presence of her classmate, or perhaps even her boyfriend, if she truly had a violent side lurking behind all this, it was hard to believe she could keep it hidden all this time. And if Natsumi was patient enough to do that, she shouldn't have been incapable of snapping in the first place. Plus, Oishi didn't get the impression she had a cunning enough personality for that.
だとしたら、またやりすぎましたかね。
In that case, maybe I overdid it again. He scratched his head, struggling to reconcile Tomoe's story and Akasuka's reasoning with what he saw. For now, Oishi thought about following her home to hear a more detailed story, but Akira stretched out his hand to stop him.
あなた、何のつもりです？
What are you trying to do?
な、 いや、勇ましいというか身の程を知らないお子様ですね。
Well, I can't tell if you're brave or just don't know your place.
突っ込んでろと言ってるのがわからないのが？
Damn.
ほら。
Can't you understand when someone's telling you to beat it, punk?
彼女は怖がってるんです。
You're scaring her.
そっとしといてあげてくれませんか？
Can you please leave her alone? Finally starting to get annoyed by Akira's presence, Oishi tried to intimidate him, But even though Akira was truly frightened, he mustered his courage and stood up to Oishi. Maybe he was about to receive a beating, but he stretched out his entire body to try and stop him. When Oishi recognized the strength of his spirit, he realized that Akira was more than just a classmate.
ではお伺いします。
Then I'll ask you.
君吉さんはなぜ私をあれほどに怖がるんでしょうね。
Why is Kimiyoshi-san so afraid of me?
そんなこと俺は知りません。
I have no idea.
それよりも聞きたいのは俺の方です。
Anyway, I'm the one who wants to ask the questions here.
あなたは一体何者なんですか？
Just, who the hell are you?
私は出版社の
I'm a publisher.
嘘だ！
Liar? Akira raised his voice and he glared at Oishi. As if he held a child in his hands and was crying out to protect it from death. Oishi could never hate such a passionate young man.
ではそうだとして
In that case,
私は一体何者なんでしょうかね。
who the hell do you think I am?
暴力団の人とか。
A gangster or something.
暴力団
A gangster?
な
Oh,
そんなものに見えますか。
that's what I look like? Kira continued staring at Oishi and refused to move. Apparently, that's how things looked.
やれやれ。よりによって仇の連中と同類に見られるとはね。
Sheesh. Think I've been seen in the same light as my mortal enemies of all things. Deep down, he felt a little disappointed.
あいにくそういうもんじゃありません。
Unfortunately, that's not the case.
こういうもんです。
This is how it is. When Akira looked at the police badge Oishi held up, tension ran across his face. His eyes flashed with despair, as if to say he'd expected this, or rather, that his dreaded worst-case scenario had arrived.
あなたは君吉さんが通う学校の生徒ですね。
You're a student at Kimiyoshi-san's school, right?
お名前聞いてもよろしいでしょうか。
May I ask your name?
東堂
Toto.
東堂明と言います。
Akira Toto.
東堂明さんね。
Akira Toto-san, eh? After taking a deep breath and scribbling in his notebook, Oishi took a seat at the nearest park bench. Akira remained standing and looked down at Oishi as he lit a cigarette.
なぜ刑事さんは君吉を追いかけているんですか？
Why is a detective chasing Kimiyoshi-san?
さあどうしてでしょう。
Well, why indeed? Oishi-san deliberately offered an ambiguous response and a smile on his face as he studied Akira's reaction. Oishi wasn't sure how much the boy knew about Natsumi, so he was gauging him. Then,
君吉がひなみ沢出身だから。
is it because Kimiyoshi's from Hinamazawa? Akira didn't sound too angry when the word Hinamazawa slipped out. Once Oishi heard that, he sat up straight and looked up at him with a content expression.
なるほど。
I see.
それについてはすでにご存知というわけですか。
So you already know about that.
詳しくは知りません。
I don't know the details.
ただ出身がその隣町の沖宮と聞きましたから。それで
I only heard that she was from the town next door, Okinomiya.
君吉家がどんな家かってことは知っていましたか。
Did you know that detail about the Kimiyoshi family house's fence?
いえ、
No.
君吉の家の周りが
When I went there before,
その以前奇妙な飾り付けがしてあったので。
the Kimiyoshi house and the yard around it had these strange decorations.
見たんですね。
So you saw it,
あの様子を。
back when it was like that. Akira had a bitter expression on his face as he lightly nodded. After he saw the house, he thought it might have been better if he hadn't.
では東堂さん、
In that case, Toto-san,
あなたの勇気に免じて少しなら答えられる範囲で教えてあげましょう。
out of respect for your courage, I'll tell you everything I can.
彼女のことで何か知りたいことはありますか。
What would you like to know about her?
ひなみ沢のお社様は君吉たちと何の関係があるんですか？
What is the relationship between Oishiro-sama of Hinamazawa and the Kimiyoshi family? Oishi remained silent as he crushed a cigarette under his foot. Then he slowly turned to face Akira. Originally, he came here intending to provoke Natsumi Kimiyoshi and press her for answers, but she just hid inside her shell, so he didn't get anywhere. In that case, his only choice was to either persuade her for information or draw a confession out of her, but he couldn't imagine she'd open her heart to a man she feared or even hated. In that case, what if he tried urging her to change her heart through one of her friends?
そうだな。あるいはこの子なら彼女も耳を傾けるかもしれない。
That's right. This kid might be able to get through to her. With those expectations buried in the bottom of his heart, Oishi decided to tell him the truth.
それではお話ししましょう。
Then let's talk.
これはあなたが君吉夏美さんにとって大事なお友達だと見込んだからです。
This is only because you're a special friend of Natsumi Kimiyoshi-san.
いいですか？
Okay?
はい。
Yes. Oishi lit a second cigarette. After a full inhale and exhale, he looked up at Akira and started speaking.
ひなみ沢は大昔鬼ヶ淵って地
History
名
lesson
で言わ
time
れ
again.
ていましてね。
Long ago, Inamazawa was known by the name Onigafuchi.
今でもその名前は残っていて、村の奥にある沼。
Even now, a swamp behind the village bears that name.
名前が鬼ヶ淵というんですが、その底は鬼たちの住む国とつながっているという言い伝えがあります。
And the origin of that name is from a legend purporting the bottom of the swamp is connected to the realm of demons.
鬼の住む国。
Realm of demons?
そして鬼ヶ淵は周辺の村から恐れられていたと同時に崇められてもいたんですよ。
And the surrounding villagers near Onigafuchi feared and respected the demons. Fear, respect, it was probably closer to worship. A village where non-humans lived, whether those people saw it as a different world or as an earthly paradise, was unknown.
鬼たちはある種の仙人でもあったと言います。
The demons were supposedly capable of performing miracles.
例えば不治の病にかかった村人を鬼ヶ淵に運んで治してもらったりとかね。
For example, a villager with an untreatable illness was carried to Onigafuchi and was allegedly cured there. It matched the image of a Tengu, or an immortal mountain wizard. However,
でもそこはやっぱり人食い鬼。
but of course, these were man-eating demons,
こんな昔話があるんですよ。
or so the legends say.
息子を治療してもらった代償として連れてきた母親を食わせろと。
When a mother brought her son there to receive treatment, they demanded to devour the mother as payment for the service.
もちろん母親は息子を連れて逃げます。
Naturally, the mother took her son and ran away.
これをですね、鬼ヶ淵の住人鬼たちがですね、全員で追いかけて取り囲んで捕まえたんだそうです。
As a result, the inhabitants of Onigafuchi all worked together to chase them down.
村人がみんなでですか？
The entire village?
そうです。
That's right.
で結局母親も息子も捕まって食べられてしまうんですよ。
In the end, they caught both the mother and her son. The demons devoured them both. Hundreds of them, carrying torches and chasing after them, as they ran through those dark mountains, scared and alone. Just imagining it made his hair stand on end. As he listened to the story, Akira imagined such a scene, took a deep breath with a mortified look on his face.
そして昔話の中で必ず村人全員に言われることが、鬼の狩りの時には絶対に邪魔をしてはいけない。
And in the old tales, the villagers were told to never stand in the way when the demons were hunting.
家に閉じこもって布団をかぶってろってことです。
They were told to stay in their homes and hide in their futons.
それってどういう？
What does that mean?
獲物となっている人を助けたり、かくまったりしてはいけないと。
That you should never help or try to hide a person targeted as the demon's prey.
鬼の狩りを邪魔しない限り、危害を加えない。
No harm would come to you as long as you didn't get in the way of the demon's hunt.
そういうルールなんですよ。
That was the rule.
もしルールを破ったら。
さあ、
Oh,
何しろ
accidentally
人食い鬼
did a
ですから
thing.
ね。
Whoops, whoops, whoops. Let me go back.
それってどういう？
And then,
獲物となっている人を助
what
け
does that mean?
かくまったりしてはいけないと。鬼の狩りを邪魔しない限り、 危害を加えない、そういうルールなんですよ。
You should never help or try to hide a person targeted as the demon's prey. No harm would come to you as long as you didn't get in the way of the demon's hunt. That was the rule. Actually, no, I probably already read that. I just got panicked. Okay, so then Akira says, so
もしルールを破ったらどうなるんです？
what happened to the people who broke the rules? Well, these were man-eating demons after all. No. Huh. As Akira tried to reconcile this new information, he began to tremble, but he quickly regained his composure after realizing the story had taken their conversation off course, so he reiterated his original question.
昔話よりも君吉のことを教えてください。
Please, tell me about Kimiyoshi instead of these old stories.
一体ひなみ沢って何なんですか？
What on earth is all this about Hinamizawa?
そもそもお社様って。
And what about Oyashiro-sama?
まあまあ、そう焦らずに。
My, don't be patient. Let me tell my story.
ここ結構大事なところなんですから。
These are important details. This is just like me trying to recount a story from my past. It's like there's a very important groundwork. Always. There's always a backstory to every story that must first be said, no matter how long it is.
つまり、鬼ヶ淵。今のひなみ沢に住んでいる人には、ある種の特殊性が備わっているということです。
In other words, the people from Onigafuchi, now known as Hinamizawa, have a certain special characteristic.
特に御三家と呼ばれる人たちには、その傾向がとても強く出ていると言っても過言ではない。
Especially for the members of the three families who are said to carry it the strongest.
御三家？
Three families.
ひなみ沢にはですね、代々血筋を受け継い
This boy
だ
knows
御三
nothing.
家という旧家があるんです。
In Hinamizawa, there are three major family lines that carry forward the ancient bloodlines.
村の誰もが尊敬してやまない家柄のことでしてね。
Everyone in the village honors and respects them.
御三家とは具体的に言うと、園崎家、古出家、そして夏美さんの君吉家の3つのことです。
Specifically, three families include the Sonozaki family, the Furude family, and Natsumi-san's own Kimiyoshi family.
君吉の家って確かひなみ沢の村長なんですよね。
Of course, isn't the mayor of Hinamizawa a member of the Kimiyoshi family?
あ、いや、ご存知でしたか。
Oh, you knew that.
しかも君吉家は選挙で選ばれたんじゃない。世襲です。
Furthermore, the Kimiyoshi family wasn't elected to that position. It was a hereditary title.
村長を代々輩出してきた実力者の家系なんですよ。
Their family line has been raising skilled village mayors for generations.
そして何百年にもわたって村のリーダーをずっと担ってきた。
And for hundreds of years, what seems like forever, they've been the leaders of the village.
何百年もですか？
Hundreds of years? At last, Akira finally began to understand the significance of the Kimiyoshi family name and called out in a hoarse voice.
となれば村人たちの信頼はとても厚い。
The villagers have a tremendous amount of trust in them
村を代表する家系ですからね。
because their family line has been representing the village for so long.
さて、こうした信頼がどこから来るかご存知ですか？
Well, do you know where that trust originated from?
村の人のためにとても良いことをしたとか、
Maybe they did a great thing in the past?
あるいはお金持ちだとか。
Or maybe they're rich? It was natural to think so. Reputation, wealth, and personal achievement were key factors in politics. However, Oishi responded no, and took a step toward Akira, then continued.
実績はもちろん必要ですがね。
Achievements are necessary too, of course.
ひなみ沢の村では何と言っても血ですよ、血。
But in Hinamizawa, what matters most is none other than blood. Their blood.
血？
Blood?
今の話から何を意味するかお分かりですよね。
Given what I was talking about earlier, you should understand what I'm implying, right? Kira thought about the story he had just heard and considered what it might indicate. Then Oishi pushed forward with an answer of his own.
分かりませんか？
You don't get it?
つまり鬼の血ってやつです。
In brief, they possess the blood of demons. Demon blood. Akira raised his head the moment he heard those words. In other words, Natsumi's body was filled with the blood of those man-eating demons he mentioned earlier.
そういうことです。
Yes, precisely.
君吉家の一族はですね、ひなみ沢の中でも最もその血を濃く受け継いだ一族の一つなんですよ。
The Kimiyoshi family is one of the families that inherited that blood the strongest.
もちろん、夏美さんもその一人。
Of course, that includes Natsumi-san.
だからって君吉が鬼の血を受け継いでいる。
So, Kimiyoshi inherited the demon's blood.
そんなこと信じているんですか？
Do you truly believe that?
ねえ、そうです。
Yes, I do.
確信しているからこそ、私たちはここにいるんです。
And that conviction is the reason we're here.
バカバカしい。
Ridiculous.
いいえ、バカバカしくなんかありませんよ。
No, it's not ridiculous at all.
実際今までにひなみ沢出身の人たちが次々に恐ろしい事件を起こしています。
In fact, people from Inamazawa have been causing terrible incidents one after another.
テレビとか雑誌とかで毎日のようにやっていますから。
The incidents have been getting coverage on TV and in magazines every day.
あなたもご存知のはずですよね。
You've seen it yourself, haven't you? Kira slowly nodded. Without those rumors and reports, he never would have been this worried about Natsumi. No!
ならお分かりじゃないですか。
So, you understand now.
しかも旧家とは縁の薄い者たちですら事件を起こしたり巻き込まれたりしている。
Even the people unrelated to these ancient families are causing or becoming involved with these incidents.
だとすれば、それ以上に縁の深い君吉家なんかはもっとひどいことになる。
And if that's the case, then the Kimiyoshi family, which is more closely related, will have it much worse.
なんて思いませんかね？
Wouldn't you agree?
それじゃあ君吉があんな恐ろしい事件を引き起こすって言うんですか？
Then, are you saying that Kimiyoshi might cause a terrible incident?
いや、それはわかりません。
No, I don't know that.
ですが、それを疑うからこそこうして調査しているんです。
But while I have my suspicions, I need to investigate to confirm.
分かっていただけましたか？
Do you understand?
そんな。
No way. Kira couldn't hide his agitation upon hearing Oishi's words. He was paralyzed with his eyes open wide. But then, he violently shook his head as if trying to deny that reality.
嘘だ。
Liar!
君吉がそんなこと。
Kimiyoshi doing something like that?
バカバカしい。
Ridiculous.
そんなこと
That's impossible.
ありえない。
Did I cut him off.
嘘
I'll let him say it
君
again
吉
while I
がそ
drink
んな
here.
ことバカバカしい。そんなことありえない。
Or maybe I barely cut him off. Despite saying that, his voice trembled, and there was no strength behind his words. Though he thought going further might be cruel, she asked another question.
でもあなた、夏美さんがひなみ沢出身かどうか最初に聞きましたよね。
But at the beginning of all this, you asked if Natsumi-san was from Hinamazawa, right? Huh?
君吉夏美がひなみ沢の出身で、それがどういうことを意味するのかを確認したかったのは、
You wanted to confirm if Natsumi Kimiyoshi was from Hinamazawa and the implications of that.
彼女に対して何らかの疑いがあったから。
Because you had your own suspicions about her.
そういうことじゃないんですか？
Isn't that so? He suddenly caught his breath, because the question had hit a bullseye.
疑いなんか俺は。
I'd never suspect her.
疑いがなくても不安だった。
Even if you're not suspicious, you're anxious,
そうでしょ？
right?
不安の原因はもちろん、ひなみ沢の出身だからです。
And the cause of that anxiety, of course, was that she was from Hinamazawa.
ひなみ沢にまつわる噂を口では否定しながら、実はあなたは恐れていた。
As much as you say that you deny the rumors about Hinamazawa, in reality, you're afraid.
違いますか？
Am I wrong?
我々は事件の裏を疑うからこそ調査し、真実を知ろうと動いているのです。
We investigate because we're suspicious of the cause of these incidents. and we're working to find the truth.
あなたとは違います。
But you're not like that.
こっちは真剣なんですよ。
I'm serious here. Kira finally raised his head, as if repelled. Oishi was no longer smiling. He was casting a stern glare that felt like it was admonishing the boy.
違いますかね。
Am I wrong?
なぜならあなたはただ疑うだけだ。
Because all you did was merely suspect her.
彼女を信じる勇気もなく、真実を知ろうと努力もせず、
You didn't
た
have
だ逃げているだけ。
you didn't have the courage to believe in her, nor did you make any effort to find the truth. You just ran away.
私にはそう見えるんですがね。
That's how it looks to me.
どうです？
What do you have to say to that?
俺は逃げてなんか。
I didn't run away.
では逆にあなたにお伺いします。
Then I'll ask you a question.
あの子のこと、本当に助けたいと思っているんですか？
Do you truly want to help that girl?
どういう意味ですか？
What do you mean?
つまりはこういうことです。
In other words,
最初に確認したってことは、人を殺すようなイカれた連中と君吉夏美が同類だったらどうしようかと、最初に予防線を張ったわけだ。
the first thing we need to confirm is what to do if Natsumi Kimiyoshi turns out to be the same as those crazy people who've committed murder, and take precautions against him.
あの子のことを心配していると口では言いながらも、その点については目をそらしている。
As much as you say you're worried about her, you turn a blind eye to that possibility.
それであなたは彼女のことを本当に理解しようとしているって言えるんですかね？
In that case, can you really say you're trying to understand her? Kira finally recognized his own cowardly and selfish attitude on the matter and began to shiver.
私、夏美と話してみるよ。それで、何とかする。
I'll try talking to Natsumi. I'll deal with all of this somehow.
千里。
Chisato.
うまくできないかもしれないけど。
I don't know if it'll go well, though.
いや、うまくいかせる。
No, I'll make it go well.
それで、元通りになったら、アキラくん、あとは任せたよ。
And when she's back to normal, I'll leave the rest to you, Akira-kun. Huh?
え？じゃないでしょ。
Don't give me that.
あんたが彼氏になって、夏美の防波堤になってやれって頼んでんのよ。
I'm asking you to become a proper boyfriend supporter.
いい？わかった？
You got it? Do something! Back then, Chisato made it abundantly clear. She wanted Akira to protect Natsumi. She declared she'd do her best because she believed Akira could do it. Nevertheless, what did he do himself? Even though he realized the gravity of her situation and knew the truth of her troubles, he refused to step forward out of fear that she would hate and reject him for it. Tell me the truth would have been a sensible thing to say. If he could, he would have already said it to Natsumi by now, wouldn't he? In that case, shouldn't he have thought and acted based around the goal of opening Natsumi's heart? Not simply appearing concerned for her on the surface and doing a half-assed job of his duties, but rather considering her position and being empathetic. Depending on the situation, shouldn't he be saving her, even if it meant relying on the power of his detective standing before him? Of this detective.
俺はどうすれば。
What should I do?
また逆にお聞きします。
Let me turn that around on you.
あなたはどうしたいのですか？
What do you want to do? Oh, hit him with that Uno reverse card. That was obvious. He wanted to help Natsumi Kimiyoshi. He wanted to accept all the problems afflicting her and believe that they could find a solution together. And if so, there was only one thing to do. Muster the courage and compassion to ask Natsumi about her problems.
俺、君吉と話してきます。
I'll talk to Kimiyoshi.
刑事さん、俺たちに少しだけ時間をもらえませんか？
Detective, could you give us a little time to deal with this?
ねえ、わかりました。
Yes, I understand.
それじゃ何かありましたらここへ。
Well then, something comes up, call this number. Then, Oishi pulled out a notebook, wrote down the phone number for Kakuji Station, and handed it over. After receiving it, Akira immediately ran out of the park.
やれやれ。若いっていいな。
Sheesh, the energy of youth. After finishing his last cigarette, Oishi rose to his feet and stamped it out. The dusky sky was already turning from a bold red to a deep blue.
間に合えばいいんですけどね。
I hope he'll make it in time, he muttered to himself in thought. Make it in time for what, though? Perhaps a tragedy was waiting for Akira that would make his hair stand on end. If so, then what did he do? What he did just now was involve the boy in a dangerous situation. It made him anxious. However, with Natsumi Kimiyoshi unwilling to open up to anyone, there was truly no other means of getting information out of her. He examined his surroundings. He began to feel like he was being watched. The crying voice of the Higurashi echoed through the entire park.
さて。
Now, Oishi suddenly felt discomfort in his back pocket and pulled out his pager. When he examined it closely, he noticed the power was off.
あっちゃしまったな。
Ah, shit.
何も起きていなければいいんですけど。
I hope nothing came up.
もしもし
Hello?
すみません。ひょっとして私に誰か連絡を。
Sorry, do you know if anyone was trying to get a hold of me?
な、
What?
本当ですかそれは。
Is that true?
そう。
Damn it! When Oishi got in touch with Madoka back at the police station, she rushed straight into her urgent message. Oishi forgot to even greet her and immediately hung up the receiver. And then, he leapt out of the phone booth with enough momentum to kick a door down and chased after Akira without waiting for a police car. Uh-oh.
たたられてるのか私は。
Am I cursed?
ことごとく裏面でちまって。
Everything I've done has completely backfired. He had intended to prevent a tragedy, but the situation had already rapidly escalated in ways that Oishi couldn't have imagined. As things are now, as thing are now, Akira is in serious danger. He couldn't bear to see another young person lose their life due to his own actions. As Oishi muttered to himself, he constantly wished for that earnest boy's safety, and he continued running as hard as he could. Ah, Oishi. Okay, I'm actually gonna take a really it's not even like a full break. It is just too hot for me to be wearing as many layers as I am, so I'm gonna go shed a layer really quick and then come right back. So give me like just a minute maybe. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. I don't know what thought compelled me outside of the shower. Like, I don't even know, because I was outside this morning. And just, of course, it's been quite hot the last few days. I don't know what thought compelled me to put on 2 layers when I got out of the shower, but I did. But now it's fixed. Saturday, July 2nd, 1983. Kimiyoshi House. Looking at it in hindsight, when Todo-kun saw the decorations covering my entire house that day, I think something in me snapped. Todo-kun acted like he was being considerate of me by saying, "See you at school," and going home like nothing was wrong. But for a moment, he looked up at those decorations and had a look of disbelief written across his face. That image was burned into my eyes and wouldn't leave me. Even before the disaster, I've been feeling irritated with Grandma for a while. Who cares about this curse? Who cares about Oishiro-sama? Mom would always criticize her about it first, so I didn't say anything, but I think my disgust was darker and deeper than anything she said. I don't believe in gods in the first place. Gods seem to give men trials and watch from the sidelines like it's a game to them. But that sounds more like the work of a demon to me. In fact, giving people the impression of a happy future, then taking away at the last minute, sounds more like the work of a con artist. Is that wrong? Should I not think of it that way? Then prove it. If you claim you'll attain salvation for your faith, that you'll be rewarded for enduring, I want you to show me some legitimate proof. Though I was always screaming that in my heart, I never saw any sort of divine blessing. So I decided that gods don't exist. Ah, base Natsumi. After all, it wasn't a god that rescued me from my disgusting environment back then. It was because they admitted me to the hospital. That and the strange experimental medicine they gave me from there were able to free me from my suffering. Since I began taking it, my gloomy emotions have gotten lighter. Before then, I was frustrated by everything except myself. It made me feel unpleasant, and it pained me to get involved with anyone. But thanks to that medicine, those dark, depressing feelings gradually diminished, and the obnoxious voices around me began to feel less unpleasant. So, I continued to take that medicine like my parents recommended. Taking it several times every day, that was what people from there decided was best. But the medicine was incredibly effective, so I began taking it anytime I started to have even the smallest of dark feelings. And thankfully, there were no side effects. But, right after the huge disaster, the supply of medicine to my house suddenly cut off. So, from then on, I had to be more careful about choosing the best times to use it, and I gradually began to feel a lingering dread. Because, ever since then, I've heard a voice talking to me inside my head. And no matter how upset I get with it, that voice just won't go away. It's so annoying, it makes me feel more and more irritable. So every time I took the medicine to make that voice go away. But one day, after Totokun saw the weird decorations on my house, when I came inside to take off my shoes feeling depressed, that voice spoke to me more directly.
いい加減にしてよ。
Enough already.
あなたは一体何なの？
What on earth are you?
答えてよ。
Answer me! What's wrong, Natsumi? You're so frightened.
みんなといる時も、
I don't know why I
一人
went
で
by
いる
that voice.
時も関係なく、いつも私に話しかけてきて。
Even when I'm with everyone, and even when I'm alone, you're always talking to me.
なのに返事をしても、あなたは笑ってばかりだ。
Even so, all you do is laugh at me when I answer you.
用がないなら、私に近づかないでよ。
If you have nothing important to say, leave me alone. Oh. Don't laugh.
イライラする。
It's annoying.
それに、あなたは誰？
And who are you anyway?
一体誰なの？
Who on earth are you? Huh? You're asking that now? Thought you already knew.
知らない。あなたなんか、私は知らない。
I don't know. I don't know you.
勝手なこと言って、私を惑わせないで。
Don't try to lead me astray by saying whatever you want.
もう、どっか行ってよ。
Now, go away already. Ah, that's a lie. You really do know. You've already realized. But you don't want to know. Is that it? So you're pretending you don't, right?
そんなことない。
That's not it.
私は。
Hey, Natsumi. Do you really hate seeing your true self that much?
何を？
What? Because you really have an aggressive personality, don't you? Letting it out is better than keeping it locked inside. Giving a beating is better than taking a beating. Making someone cry is better than crying yourself. And rather than being killed, killing is... Shut up! Whoops. Huh? Am I wrong? If that's the case, I'll leave right here. Are you okay with that? Are you? You can hide your thoughts forever, let them accumulate, wait it out, and keep on struggling to breathe until you die. It's your choice. That might be a nice way to go. But are you really okay with that? Even if it means losing the things most precious to you? Totokun seemed really shocked earlier. Are you really okay with him hating you? Ha 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 ha. Ah ha ha ha. Imposing laugh. Heh, of course, I know. There's no way you're okay with that. Not at all. After pining for him so hard, your feelings finally got through to him. After all, you finally become a couple with the man whose affection you've always longed for, right? Right? Isn't that so? Didn't you say you were at your happiest when your feelings got through to him? Didn't you say you could give up anything for that?
そう。そうだよ。
Right. That's right.
失いたくない。東堂くんは、私の。
I don't want to lose him. Totokun is mine. Right. I understand how you feel, Natsumi. But thanks to that crazy old hag, everything's gone to waste. Tough luck. Your love ends here. Are you satisfied with that? Oh, I can't do, like, whatever. You could never be, right?
できないできるもんか
I'm not. I can never be satisfied with that.
あんなせいであんな
It's all her fault. All her. Right. That's it. That's the right feeling. Doesn't that feel better? Nobody knows the pain you keep hidden. Nobody notices. Then, why endure it? Maybe someday the gods will be watching over you and grant your wish. Is that what you believe?
そんなわけあるか
Not a chance.
神様なんて私を
The gods... The gods won't do anything for me. Yeah, I understand. Then it's simple. I'll help you. Huh? Okay, listen carefully. You'll get a phone call from Mom soon. I'm not just making a random guess, because this always happens. Whenever Mom finishes her errand, she always calls home. And when she calls, you can tell her about the old hag. Yes, while crying. That's important, okay? Then, the old hag will hear and start to feel worried, so she'll come to talk to you. And then, when she comes from behind, or from the side, make sure you have your back turned to her. So, you'll be so surprised when she suddenly calls out to you, that you'll instinctively try to shake off her grip, and unfortunately, push her away. Damn! The voice inside telling you to murder your grandma. Then, she'll coincidentally smack her head against the furniture that stood in her path, and regrettably end up dying. Got it? You only have one chance. If you miss this opportunity, you'll keep spending the rest of your life putting up with everything like you always have. So, put yourself at ease, okay? Nobody will know. Nobody will blame you. Nobody would believe someone as pure as you would commit a murder. Huh. Murder. Rustle. It felt like a foreign body had entered my eardrum. Like something was crawling around behind my ear.
負けるもんか
I won't give in. Even now, she continues reciting those weird prayers to a god I don't believe in. Without even a care for how much trouble and unhappiness it inflicts upon us.
負けるもんか負けるもんか負けるもんか負けるもんか負けるもんか
I won't give in. Right. I can't rely on anyone. No one will help me. I've been leaving that thing to her own devices because no matter how much I feared her rants and felt doubt and disgust toward her, I was too uneasy to completely reject her. I abandoned my pursuit of happiness and took the easy way out, submitting to her control. But that all ends here. I'm going to grab a hold of my happiness. I won't give in. Even if I'm alone in the end, I won't give in. I won't let go of the happiness I've grabbed hold of. I won't give in. Right. That thing is no longer the grandma I know. It's an ugly, filthy, non-human creature. She just pretends she's one of us, sitting around like she owns the place. Disgusting, filthy thing. Disappear. Look closely, Natsumi Kimiyoshi. Clear your mind, open your eyes, and look at that thing. That thing taking on the appearance of Grandma as your enemy. Her body was taken over. She's an enemy now. So, you need to drag that thing out as soon as possible and return everything to the way it once was. Only you can do it, Natsumi. Come on! Scrape. Ah, shut up. The stronger my sense of duty grows, the more the whispers in the back of my ear urge me to hurry up and kill that thing, telling me now's my only chance. This is fucking upsetting to read. Yeah, I get it already. No need to goad me on any further. I'll never forgive the people who destroy my happiness. Scrape. When I entered that thing's room, the smell of incest was in the air. Incense, not incest. That's close. The smell of incense was in the air, and that thing was muttering something towards the altar. When that thing noticed me, she gently raised her head and looked back. Don't look me in the eyes, with that kindly expression on your face.
夏美ちゃん、どうしたんだい?
Moments before disaster. Natsumi-chan, what's going on? The time has come. Since you can't make me submit by force, you're trying to win me over with that soothing voice. Imitating Grandma's voice? How insolent. It seems like you're trying to distract me, but sorry. I've already seen your true identity, so I won't be fooled any longer.
Natsumi-chan!
Natsumi-chan! Don't murder your grandma. Turning on my heels, I left the room. My heart ached for a moment over what I was about to do. But that wasn't Grandma in front of me. It was that thing wearing Grandma's skin. So I made up my mind. It was time to act. It will only take a few minutes. I just need to muster a little courage. Behind me, I could hear the sound of clanking beads as the prayers began again.
これのかむ床に祝い祭り沈め祭る
Here on God's earth, we offer this to you. Accept this offering.
かけ幕もかしこみお社の狼
I see your work. Unfinished, great God Oyashiro.
これのかむ床に祝い祭り沈め祭る
Here on God's earth, we offer this to you. Accept this offering. Oh my god. That startled me so much. I was not prepared for that. We've read this chant and this prayer, this blessing kind of thing so many times in Reddit, and all these old people voices doing it. I gotta hear that again. Give it.
これのかむ床に祝い祭り沈め祭る
God, it's so startling. It's so it's so sudden that it just switches so quickly.
これのかむ床に祝い祭り沈め祭る
I appreciate that though. Let me try my okay. So here on God's earth, we offer this to you. Yeah, I wasn't tracking it as well. I was just shut up. That's enough. Reciting those sickening incantations what drove this whole house crazy. Like the song a snake charmer uses to coax a serpent from a vase, bringing that thing into this house. But like usual, that person continued stupidly offering those devout prayers to Oshiro-sama. At this point, with the anger on the verge of bursting from my chest, I no longer felt merciful. Hoping to cut off that harsh sound, I closed the door to the living room behind me, a suffocating atmosphere coiling around my body. I get a second attempt. Kills my throat when I do this though. I'm for this to you. Accept this offering. There's a little like rattling to it. Finished. Now I'm just doing this voice. Unfinished. Great God, Oyashiro. No, don't make me do it again, game. On God's earth, we offer this to you. Accept this offering. I see your work. Unfinished. Great God, Oyashiro. Nonetheless, I could still clear. Oh my god, that actually hurts. I'm just now feeling it. Okay, I could still clearly hear the voice of that thing muttering those prayers. Hearing that sound, something suddenly snapped inside me and became unleashed. The next moment, the phone began to ring. Based on the timing, it had to be Mom.
はい。もしもし。
Yes? Hello?
あ、夏美？
Oh, Natsumi?
お母さんだけど。
It's Mom. This is it. I unconsciously cried tears of relief as a smile spilled across my lips. Now, dance, Mom. Just the way I planned. Dance, Water, dance! Dance, Mom, dance!
お母さん。お母さん。
Mom. Mom.
私。どうしたら。
What should I do?
夏美？
Natsumi.
どうしたの？泣いてるの？
What's wrong? Why are you crying?
何があったの？夏美？
What happened, Natsumi?
おばあちゃんが。
Grandma!
おばあちゃんが変な飾りとおまじないを。
Grandma put those...
うちに。
Oh. Grandma put those weird decorations all over the house.
まさか。うちって、うちの？
No way. At our home?
どうしよう。どうしよう。見られちゃうよ。
What should I do? What should I do? Someone will see it.
他の人に変なうちだって思われて。
Other people will think our house is weird when they see it. Hey, Grandma, did you hear that? What I said over the phone? Hurry up and notice, and come over here, okay? What a just... God, this is, like I said earlier, so upsetting to read. Reading the voice inside Natsumi's head. We know Natsumi is a fucking losing it. The voice inside her head laying out the plan of murdering her own grandma. And then it just, her acting. Ugh. This part's, like I said, upsetting to read, but well written in an upsetting way. An interesting way. I like it. In a sickening way. Plus demon voice. We're getting it all in this section. Natsumi's grandmother says dots. Just then, I could sense someone moving in the room that thing was in. Good. Good. This is it. Now, come over here.
夏美、逃げなさい。
Natsumi, get out of there. Huh? Just then, on the other end of the phone, Mom tried to warn me of the impending danger.
おかしいの。みんなおかしいのよ。
It's strange. Everyone is acting strange.
うちだけじゃなく、親戚のお年寄りがみんな。
And it's not just at our house, it's all our elderly relatives.
だから逃げなさい、夏美。
So, you need to get out of there, Natsumi.
早く。
Hurry! The mom does not know that the problem lies with Natsumi and not the elderly mom. Yeah. Feel good. Do. Whoa! Amazing, Mom. That was an excellent line. Nice setup. You're always such a nag and an eyesore, but now you're great, Mom. This is a perfect setup for a justifiable self-defense claim. The preparations are complete. Now, we just need to wait for that thing to come closer.
夏美ちゃん
Natsumi-chan? Hey! Yeah! Come to me, like a fish following the bait. Come here without suspecting a thing. Incredible, this is incredible. Everything is going as planned, isn't it? Then, fearing I might jeopardize up the operation, I hung up the receiver. I feared that if I kept going, I might let out a laugh.
夏美ちゃん
Natsumi-chan. Come give your grandmother a hug. Uh-oh. Hair, bangs covering the eyes. Classic telltale sign of fucking I'm evil right now. I'm having evil intentions. Now it was getting closer. That thing made a racket as I slowly came up the hallway behind me.
もう大丈夫だからね
Everything is all right, okay?
だから泣かないでね
So don't cry, okay? Standing 5 meters away. 4, 3.
大丈夫だから安心してね
Everything is fine, so you can relax, okay? 2, 1. Just a little more. Come quickly. Then, on my neck, I felt an uncomfortable breath and turned back. Natsumi-chan!
おばあちゃん
Grandma! Before pushing her down, I double-checked the preparations.
バイバイ
Bye. Oh my god. Bye-bye. It's terrifying. Also, it's so unfortunate. This is just a general thing, but it's so unfortunate that you can, like, take out an old person in life by just giving them a quick shove. You know what I mean? And I know that's just the problem with getting old. Our bodies start deteriorating. It doesn't take much. But really, the voice inside Natsumi's head was like, yeah, just bait your grandma and then give her a sudden quick push from, like, when she's not expecting it, and she should go down and, like, bonk her head, maybe. Like, it's just, it's so upsetting. It's so upsetting that that's all it takes. I hope I'm, I hope I'm removed from this planet before I could just get a light breeze could knock me out, you know what I mean? Oh, it's upsetting. It's upsetting. The absolute state of old people. I want to hear her say bye-bye again.
バイバイ
Damn. Bye-bye. I took the initiative and swung my arms. That thing immediately fell silent, and I looked down with a surprisingly cold heart. As I gazed into the darkness, I saw the faint silhouette of that thing, which had come up to me without suspecting a thing. Even when I closed my eyes, that image was burned at the back of my eyelids. Damn. I murdered my grandma. It was unbelievable. It was incredibly surprising that the plan went out exactly as intended. Grandma hit a bad spot, and that was the end of it. Then, when Mom and Dad came home and found me crying, neither of them blamed me at all. Now, it's not over yet. This is where the real show begins, Natsumi Kimiyoshi. My god! Also, there's music? New music all of a sudden? Right. That's right. The true identity of that thing was a demon. So, this was a demon extermination.
Natsumi, 何をする気だ?
Natsumi, what are you doing? I dragged Grandma's corpse into the bathroom. And I dragged Dad's wooden toolbox from the back room in, too. From there, I pulled out the appropriate tool and I... Me! The odor encircled the area. In that extraordinary stagnant air, I couldn't help but vomit. No good. I can't get cold feet here. I swear I'm going to grab hold of my happiness with my own hands.
夏美
Natsumi!
分かってるよね
You both understand, right?
お父さんもお母さんも
Dad? Mom?
このままじゃ私たち幸せになれないって
This is the only way for us to be happy. I looked back at the two of them, panting in terror, and said that with a smile on my face.
高校生の女の子が祖母を殺害
A high school girl killing her grandmother.
もし新聞に載ったらお父さんは失業だね
You'll lose your job if that hits the newspapers, Dad.
お母さんも友達がいなくなって親戚からも絶縁で村には帰れない
And Mom, you'll lose all your friends, and our relatives will disown you and refuse to let you return to the village.
もうガス災害で
Damn, Natsumi's holding them.
Ne.
Oh, but I suppose the gas disaster already took care of that for the most part, right?
あんた自分の言ってること分かってるの
Do you understand what you're saying?
そうだぞ夏美
That's right, Natsumi.
そんなお前
There's no way you...
分かってるよ
Yeah, I know.
親戚みんなへの見栄で進学校に通わせて毎日私を勉強漬けにさせたお母さん
Mom, you made me go to prep school and study hard every day so you could show me off to all the relatives.
出世に響くから 私の入院の理由を貧血症にしてごまかして。
Oh, damn, she's going full scorched earth. And Dad, you lied and said I was hospitalized for anemia because you were worried the real reason would undercut your career advancement.
私何か間違ってる？
Am I wrong? I've been kind of on the fence about Natsumi as a character in these last couple of arcs, but I truly do enjoy fully psychotic breakdown Natsumi. Like, it's like I'm fucking the worst person, obviously, and doing terrible things, but like I'm going to paint you a picture of why it's justified for me to finally have lost it. Like that, like where she's like, it's that obviously stereotypical like, oh, the world has let me down and all these injustices have happened upon me and now I finally like I'm at my breaking point and I'm going to do the thing. But like it comes across so well done, and the portrayal by the voice actress and everything is just well done in my opinion. I really like it. She's great. She's great. She works as, especially like in the couple last earlier arcs where she was like very painted as pure innocent, and now being able to see that turn here after everything has, all the shit has happened, where it's like, oh, it's a good payoff. It's good. That's right. Since I began elementary school, I was forced into studying every night, even though I didn't want to. I was always told, you should be studying, not playing, so without a proper experience playing with friends, I developed difficulties talking with other people. And thanks to that, my heart grew strained, enraged, and torn apart. Then, I was finally hospitalized and subjected to various unpleasant medications, and forced into these tedious counseling sessions day after day. And once I finally got better, it seemed like things would get a little easier, but he used a job change as an excuse to transfer me to a prep school, starting the whole thing all over again. Ha! I knew it. The two of you don't regret a thing. And even as I desperately crawl up from the depths of hell, you don't understand that it's your fault things turned out this way. Pushing me on without my consent, all while constantly running away from the responsibility of tearing my soul to shreds.
どうしたの二人とも？顔が真っ青だよ。
What's wrong with you two? Your faces are turning blue.
私のやってるのは二人がやってきたことと同じなんだから。
I'm doing the same thing both of you did.
だから全然おかしくない。
So this shouldn't seem strange at all.
そうだよね。
Right?
二人とも私のためにやってくれてたんだもんね。
You did it all for my sake, didn't you?
夏美
Natsumi. Mom and Dad stared at me like they were looking at a completely different person, and trembled in astonishment. We need to hide Grandma somewhere before anyone can see her, because if the body's gone, then there is no crime. I had to rid this house of the demon living inside. I had to cleanse it. Right? I'm not mistaken, am I?
はい、お母さん。
Alright, Mom.
手伝ってくれるよね。
You'll help me, won't you? The family should work together to protect the family's happiness, right? You don't want to lose the precious life you've built up in the city, do you?
Haruko!
Haruko!
お前まで何をしてるんだ
You too! What are you doing? Dad raised his voice. Mom stopped moving her hands for a moment to mutter at him.
鬼退治だから
This is a demon extermination. Damn. She gave in. She bent to my will. She always talked down to me all high and mighty with one platitude after the next, but when it really comes down to it, she's just acting in self-preservation. How hilarious. You're all so hilarious. How weak. Is that the best your brains can do? That's fine. You don't have to think about anything. I'll take care of everything. I heard that. Mom's heavy breathing and Dad's sobbing. Yes, this is an unfortunate accident. So for the two of them, they're acting according to my will, not because a family member died, but because they're afraid they'll lose their current way of life as a result. After that, Dad drove us somewhere deep in the mountains that nobody would ever find. And at last, the demon was removed from our house. Saturday, July 9th, 1983. Thanks to that obnoxious detective earlier today, my light self was down in the dumps, setting the stage for my turn when heading back to the house. Though I was able to talk to Toto-kun directly for once along the way, so that was one benefit. Well, given the way he was acting, he probably hasn't figured out about me. Moi. Haha. That relief and fleeting peace was shattered to pieces by a news bulletin flowing out of the TV when I came home.
本日正午過ぎ、岐阜県山中の県道で女性の遺体が発見されました。
This afternoon, the body of a woman was found on a rural road out inside the mountains of Gifu Prefecture.
年齢は70歳から90歳。現在警察では
Her age is estimated between 70 and 90 years old, and at the moment the police are... In the dimly lit dining room, Mom and Dad were gazing raptly at the TV screen. Based on the apples and knives on the table, they were probably in the middle of peeling fruit, but neither of them had their hands on it, and their faces were despondent and blue, with a look of despair. What's going on? Natsumi. They must not have noticed my return. Dad looked back with a shocked expression. God, it's just so crazy. Like, to have your daughter do that, and then you're like, you just have to move on as a family and be the parents, and you're like, God, like, to have the roles almost reversed in a way where this was kind of weird, but walk with me. But, like, your daughter killed a relative. And we see, you know, differing degrees of, like, the mom is kind of tired of the grandma shit. And the dad's kind of, like, indifferent. And he's just like, oh, I just want to live kind of thing. But then it happens. And then you just have to keep moving on. And you never know if it's going to stop at the grandma. And so you're kind of just like, well, our murderous daughter just is there. They must not have noticed my return. Dad looked back with a shocked expression. After that terse greeting, I walked in front of the TV and stared intently at the screen. Elderly woman, aged between 70 and 90 years old. Considering the timing, there was no room for doubt. How did they find it so quickly? Anyway, there's no point regretting it in hindsight, but what should we do now? The next moment...
Natsumi.
Natsumi? Dad broke the silence and called out to me.
Natsumi.
Natsumi, let's turn ourselves in. Probably not the thing you want to say to your daughter, who's now a murderer. And didn't seem too upset about being a murderer. In my opinion. Huh? Hey. Turn ourselves in now. After all the measures we've taken to avoid doing that? What an idiotic thing to suggest. No. Wait a minute. Could Dad have... Dad?
Natsumi.
Natsumi. Go to the police and atone for your sins. I will come with you. Why? Even though we've gotten our old lives back? Even though the demon is gone? So why? Why are you suggesting something that would destroy my happiness, Dad? I'm sorry. I intentionally left Grandma in a place where she would be discovered. Ah, I knew it. I suspected that might be the case. Well, maybe I should commend him for the fact that it still took them a week to find it. Even so, your heart is weak. I want to awaken from this nightmare as soon as possible. That's all I want. And I can't bear the weight of more sins upon our consciousness. Or consciences. I know how to read. I think we need to pay for our sins before Grandma can truly be put to rest. Dear. As Mom began bursting into tears, Dad put his arms around her shoulders. Staring at the two of them caused something to well up from the bottom of my heart. No way. Everything was going so well. I thought I could regain those happy days. And yet, Mom, Dad, are the two of you going to ruin that?
夏美、目を覚ましなさい。
You have to wake up, Natsumi.
現実を受け止めるんだ。
Accept reality. I don't want to. I don't want that. No, 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 no! Murder your parents! The next moment, after I finished crying out, another thought came to me. Yes, I've already killed one person. Even if that escalated to 2 or 3 people, would that really change anything? It wouldn't change anything, right? Even as things are now, if I'm caught, I won't be able to go back to my old life. And even if I avoided capture, that would still be impossible. Then, what should I do? Hit the reset button? Or make it so that none of it ever happened, like stopping a novel part way through when you know it has a tragic ending waiting for you? Yes, this is fine. Hinamazawa was the reason I dirtied my hands with this crime in the first place. It's all Mom and Dad's fault for turning me to murder. They're the ones who locked me in a cramped cage to suit their egos. Hey, that's a good enough reason, isn't it? So, it's not my fault. Mom and Dad are in the wrong here. And besides, are these people really thinking of me and my best interests here? And then, Dad put his hands on my shoulders and shook his head. Then with a merciless expression, he said to me,
夏美、
Natsumi,
お前が殺したんだ。
you're the one who killed her.
あんなに優しかったおばあちゃんを。
That kind, gentle old woman. You're wrong.
夏美、お前が殺した。
Natsumi, you killed her. Huh? Me? Ah, I see. If you were really trying to protect me, you wouldn't have intentionally left the body somewhere easy to find, right? So, this is a trap. You were planning to hand me over to the police from the beginning and just trying to protect yourselves. How impertinent. How filthy. Is this what adults are? Is this what my parents are? No. No, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. Not my fault, not my fault, not my fault.
夏美。
Natsumi.
夏美。
Natsumi? Maybe if we just keep saying your name, you'll understand. Mom and Dad were glaring at me with a gaze that pierced through my entire body. The two of them surrounded me to cut off my escape, and their eyes glistened as they continued glaring at me, looking down on me like a detestable sinner. Then, the moment I turned my gaze downward, I saw Mom and Dad's shadows on the tatami mat. And on the heads of those shadows, I saw 2 sharp, protruding horns. That's it. That's it. These people are not my mom and dad. These are demons trying to take away my happiness. Terrible noises. The fear drove me to vomit. I felt a burning pain in the back of my throat. There's a demon in my body. A demon devouring my heart.
Natsumi.
Natsumi. Dad seemed terrified as he looked at my current state. Dad! I had lost my voice. My throat was so dry I couldn't even breathe. The pain felt like my eyes were about to pop out.
Natsumi!
Natsumi! As I stood up, I grabbed a hold of the fruit knife behind my back. Exterminate them. I'll exterminate every single demon living in this house. I'll get back to my original happiness as soon as possible. This ordinary but peaceful family of 4. My precious friends from school, Chisato-chan and Tamako-chan. And my beloved Toto-kun, looking at me with that gentle gaze. To regain everything, I'll get rid of these demons with my own hands.
何を夏美
What? Natsumi?
お前一体どうしたんだ
What on earth are you doing? What am I doing? This is a demon extermination, right? So disappear. I looked at the expression of disbelief on Dad's face as I pierced his defenseless throat with the fruit knife in a single stroke. Dad only managed to let out a Dad only managed to let out a single hoarse sound before falling to the floor, dead. Ah, he was always a quiet person, even in the end. Eek! Don't come any closer. If she wants to preserve her life, the best thing she can attempt is be like, oh, good, thank you for murdering my husband. I won't say anything. I wanted him dead too. Then, Mom scurried away into the living room and I followed behind her. Mom's eyes were opened wide and she trembled as she inched back. Mom!
どうして逃げるの
Why are you running away? I'm not gonna try to scream. Scream. Mom screamed as she made to escape, but at best she could only keep crawling.
お母さん
Mom?
お母さんは私の味方だよね
Mom, you're on my side, right? Her legs were tangled around each other, but Mom did stop her retreat. The tatami mats rustled and creaked underfoot.
鬼がまだいる音がする
There's still a demon here, I can hear it.
しなきゃ退治しなきゃ
It needs to be destroyed. Destroyed! Ah!
鬼が
The demon is... I rushed over to Mom as she tried to escape and raised the weapon in my hand overhead. Ding dong! Ding dong! I heard a chime off in the distance. Rustle, 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 rustle. That sound was blocked out by an echoing sound like a spider crawling in my ear. Trying to shake off these annoying sounds, I did it over and over and over and over again. And every time the blood splattered up onto my hands and down to the floor. Rustle, 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 rustle. Suddenly, the sound ceased. Keeping the fruit knife held tight, I climbed over the pool of blood. The pure red pedicure on the toes of my bare feet blended together with the blood covering the tatami mat. Now, even looking at Mom and Dad's bodies lying on the floor, I didn't feel anything. Because the creatures lying in front of me were not my parents. A demon wearing Dad's skin and a demon wearing Mom's skin. They were demons. That's how she laughed right there. The demons have been exterminated, and with this, my everyday happiness will return to me. I won, and I didn't rely on anyone. I did it with my own strength. Alright, time to murder my boyfriend now, too. The next moment, I suddenly looked down, and in the blood-stained fruit knife, I saw Toro-kun's reflection. I lowered my face and wiped away the blood, then turned back slowly. This is the ultimate relationship test. Is your partner okay with you being a murderer? If yes, they're the one. Did I read that one? I lowered my face and wiped away the blood, then turned back slowly. Then, on the other side of the ransacked room, I saw Toro-kun standing there with a dumbfounded expression, completely lost for words.
Kimiyoshi. お前
Kimiyoshi, you...
あの 私
I got up and tried to walk closer to Totokun. His listless face quickly grew tenser as he gazed at me with unfocused eyes. And when I saw myself reflected in his eyes, I was at a loss for words. Are those two horns on my head? I see. There's still a demon here. There's another demon inside this house. And the last demon is me? No. I don't want him to see it. I don't want him to know. I don't want him to know it. Totokun is the last person I wanted to know I was a demon.
東堂くん
Totokun.
私のこと好きだよね
You love me, right? Huh? As I muttered that, I grabbed a vase sitting in the shrine, and while Totokun continued staring in bewilderment, I immediately swung it down on him. Before my eyes, Totokun began to bleed from his head and collapsed to the ground. God! She can't be stopped!
ついにやっちゃったね夏美
You finally done it, Natsumi. As I stood there quietly, the other me spoke to me and laughed.
どうする
What will you do?
大好きな東堂くんに見られちゃったね
Your beloved Totokun saw everything, right?
今は気絶してるけど目覚めた時に今あったことを忘れている
He's unconscious now, but he might forget everything when he wakes up.
なんて都合のいいことにはならないか
Yeah, right. As if reality would be so convenient.
どうすれば
Ooh,
私
what should I do?
決まってるでしょもう
Isn't that obvious?
どうしようもないよできることはなんにもなし
You can't do anything anymore. There's nothing left.
であなたはこの後捕まるの警察にね
So, the police are going to come for you now.
言っておくけど逃げ出しても無理よ
I'll tell you now, escape is impossible at this point.
きっと東堂くんが今起こったことを警察に話しちゃうでしょうから
Because Totokun will definitely tell the police what happened just now.
で追い詰められて逮捕
So, they'll chase you down and arrest you.
絶望して自殺ってのもいいかもね
Maybe losing yourself to despair and committing suicide would be a good option at this point.
そして怪我が治った東堂くんは誰かさんと一緒にハッピーエンド
Then, when Totokun's injuries heal, you'll be able to find a happy ending with a certain someone.
あなたのことなんてすぐに忘れちゃうかも
He might even forget about you soon enough. A certain someone. A certain someone, you say? You mean that hypocrite and liar?
そうそう正解
Yes, that's right.
であなたに質問
So, I have a question for you.
東堂くんをこのままにしてていいの
Are you going to leave Totokun the way he is?
放っておくと取られちゃうよあの誰かさんに
Leave him alone and let him be taken by that certain someone?
それで OK?
Are you okay with that? Use. Of course not. Of course I'm not. Even though I've suffered so much and struggled through this misery, she's going to take my happiness away without saying anything or lifting a finger. I won't allow it. I can't. If the alternative is giving him up to her, then I'll...
ごめんごめんね東堂くん
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Totokun. Damn. Scratch. Scratch. My throat was burning hot. As I broke through the skin, it felt like something was about to burst out. A lukewarm sensation surrounded my fingernails. Ah, itchy, 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 itchy. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Hey, Totokun, I love you. That's why, you see, you and I will be together forever.
やめなさい
Stop it!
もうやめるんだ夏美さん
Akaska from nowhere. That's enough, Natsumi-san. I'm here! The police? That can't be. How did they get here so soon? When I heard that voice in my head and realized it wasn't truly my own voice, I was able to return to myself for a moment. Stop this already! As I screamed that, something inside me snapped, and the thread that was holding me together was cut. What?
お前、私が全部消したはずなのに。
You? I thought I already erased all traces of you.
どうしてそんなはずな。
So how? How can this be? Then my consciousness was swallowed by the darkness, and everything vanished. Oh, we gotta read at least one more section here. Can't end there. Monday, July 11th, 1983. Inside Kageboushi Station.
どうぞ、赤坂さん。
Here, Kasuka-san.
あ、すみません。
Ah, thanks. Madoka-san handed me a paper cup full of tea, and I let out a sigh because I couldn't remember how many I had today. She must have noticed my reaction. She sat down on the sofa across from me and said to Kasuka-san in a stern voice. Huh?
辛いお気持ちはわかりますが、考えても仕方のないことは考えるべきじゃないと思います。
I understand you're feeling hurt, but if thinking about it isn't going to do you any good, there's no sense dwelling on it.
しっかりしてくださいよ。
So, pull yourself together.
ええ、分かってます。
Yeah, I know.
自分でも分かっているんですけどね。
Even I understand that. Even if I beat myself up over it, time wouldn't turn backwards. I understood that, but I just couldn't help thinking about it. If circumstances were different at that time, on that day, how many more lives could have been saved? We could have protected their happiness.
助けに入った東堂明君も軽傷で済みました。
We were able to help Akira Todo-kun, who only suffered minor injuries.
犯人も自傷行為を起こす前に確保。
And we secured the perpetrator before she could cause serious harm to herself.
赤坂さんたちが間に合ったから2人分の命が助かったんです。
Kasuka-san, those two are alive thanks to you and the rest of the team.
それは間違いのない事実ですよ。
That's an undeniable fact.
それでもあと少し。
Even so, if we had arrived
1時間、いや30分でもいい。
an hour, no, even 30 minutes earlier.
現場に到着できていたら、彼女の両親は。
If we had made it there, her parents would be.
赤坂さん、
Kasuka-san,
あんまりうぬぼれたこと言うと、お姉ちゃんの時みたいに私怒りますよ。
if you keep saying those conceited things, I'll get angry with you, just like I did with Sis, okay?
あんた神様かよってね。
And I'll have to say things like, you're not a god, you know?
まどかさん。
Madoka-san. With a giggle and a gentle smile, Madoka-san had a distant look in her eyes like she was reminiscing about the old days.
お姉ちゃんも毎回殺人事件のたびにそう言っていました。
Sis also said that after every murder case.
もっと早く解決していればとかなんだかいろいろと。
How she wished she'd solved the case earlier. Stuff like that.
まったくそんな簡単にテレビドラマみたく突然謎がひらめいたり、容疑者が自供したり、理由もなく善人になって改心するかっての。
Really, it's not like those TV dramas where the mystery's solved in a flash. The suspect confesses or vows to become a good person for no good reason.
もっと自己中に割り切って考えれば悩みも少なかっただろうし、きっと幸せになっていた可能性高かったと思います。
If she'd been more selfish, if she could have just set aside her feelings, I think she would have had less to worry about and a good chance of obtaining happiness.
クソ真面目に生きたってバカ正直に頑張ったって、もっと世の中にずるく賢く立ち回って偉くなってる人がいるんだから。
Even if you live so earnestly, working so hard over a foolish notion of integrity, there's others out there who act shrewder and smarter and thus rise up in the world.
その分自分が損をするだけじゃないかってそう思ってました。
She was just hurting herself doing all that. At least, that's what I used to think.
今でも少しだけ そう思います。
No, even now, I still think that just a little. But, Madoka-san said while raising her head and gallantly looking off in the distance.
お姉ちゃんが亡くなった時、たくさんの人が泣いてくれました。
So many people cried when Sis died.
今までお姉ちゃんをバカにしたり、悪口言ってた人も、みんな。
Even people who made fun of her or badmouthed her. Everyone.
刑事二課の課長なんて、いつも女のくせに偉そうにするなって露骨に嫌ってたのに。
Even the chief of the second investigation division, who always said things like, "You're awfully hoity-toity for a lady," and was blatantly hostile with her. I knew the second division chief too. Unlike Chief Yamamura of the first division, he was a divisive person who constantly complained to Chief Yamaoki that our activities were disturbing their on-site investigations. Naturally, he must have complained about Chief Inspector Manai, who acknowledged all that. Still, when she died, he said something that stabbed me right in the heart. That rambunctious girl. Who am I going to trade barbs with now?
仲の良かった人からも悪かった人からもいなくなったことを残念に思ってもらえて。
Close friends, and even people who didn't get along with her were sad to hear of her passing.
それってすごいことなんですよね。
That's pretty amazing, don't you think?
それだけみんなに頼られて愛されて
It's proof that she was
大切
important.
な存在だった証なんだから。
It's proof that she was important, that everyone relied on her and loved her.
そうですよ。
Yes, that's true.
間違いなく。
Without a doubt. People can't live forever. They spend their entire lives trying to fulfill their thoughts and dreams, so it's especially heartbreaking when a person dies before they can achieve those dreams. Nevertheless, there's something wonderful about knowing how many people can recognize their contributions, and that those memories will live on in so many... I'm just going to try to say this again. Nevertheless, there's something wonderful about knowing how many people can recognize their contributions, and that those memories will live on in so many people. Happiness and individual wealth disappear after death. However, a person's efforts and accomplishments to improve society, even on a small scale, are protected by the people who remember what they accomplished. Maybe I'm exaggerating and overthinking this, but still, as long as I remember her, I'll never even consider leaving the police force.
私はご存知の通りダメなやつですから。
You know, I was never a respectable person.
いっぱい回り道したり足を踏み外したりしていろんな人に迷惑をかけてきました。
I made a lot of wrong turns, stepped on a lot of toes, and made trouble for a lot of people.
でもこうして少しは元の道に帰ってくることができたのは
But
お姉ちゃんがいたから。
But thanks to Sis, I was able to get back on the right path.
そしてそのお姉ちゃんが目標にしていたお父さんがいたからなんだってそう思えるんです。
And for Sis, I think her goal was always to be more like Dad.
だから私これから強くなります。
So, from now on, I'll have to be stronger.
たくさんの人が落ち込んだりくじけそうになった時に私を見て励みになってもう一度頑張ろうって思ってもらえるように。
When a lot of people are feeling depressed or frustrated, they can look to me for help and I'll encourage them to do their best.
そのためには私も幸せにならなきゃいけませんよね。
And in order to do that, I need to be happy myself.
お姉ちゃんが一番それを望んでいてくれたんだから。
That was the one thing Sis wanted most. Noka-san said that with determination as she wiped the tears from her face with a handkerchief.
そうだ。私も
Right.
同じだ。
It's the same for me too.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you,
まどか
Madoka-san.
さん。
Thank you, Madoka-san. Huh?
落ち込んでいる場合じゃない。
This is no time to be feeling depressed.
できなかった後悔よりも、これからできる努力をすべきなんですよね。
Rather than regret the things I couldn't do, I should make an effort to do all I can from now on.
私も誰かのためになれるような人間であれるよう頑張りますよ。
I'll do my best too, for everyone else's sake. Staying here and looking backwards won't accomplish anything. I only need to look forward. Because the future lies ahead.
あ、そうそう。
Oh, right.
私、実はまだカオルさんにも話してないんですけど、
I haven't actually told Kaoru-san yet,
できちゃったみたいなんです。
but I think it happened.
できたって。
It happened? Oh. Madoka-san looked embarrassed as she gently stroked her stomach. Oh. And when I realized what that indicated, I instantly began to smile.
それはおめでとうございます。
It's a random way of bringing it up, lady. Congratulations.
きっと山
Such
沖
a
所長も
change,
喜
such
ば
a
れると
swift
思いま
change
す
in
よ。
topic. I'm sure Chief Yamaoki will be delighted.
どうかな。
I wonder.
きっと孫みたいだって恥ずかしがるんじゃないかな。
He'll probably be embarrassed and treat it more like a grandchild. That's a weird and wild thing to say. I couldn't imagine that. A person with passion in their heart like him would never be unhappy to have a child just because they've grown old. Well, it'll probably become a funny story in the police station once it gets out, but that's also nice. No matter what, it'll be happy that the dark topic's suddenly dragging... It'll be better than the dark topics suddenly currently dragging us down.
では式も間もなくですね。
Then, I guess the wedding's not too far off, is it?
それに名前を考えなきゃ。
And you'll have to think about a name, huh?
気が早いですよ。
Don't be too hasty.
でも女の子だったらこれしかないって決めてるのが一つだけあるんですけどね。
But if it's a girl, I've already decided. There's only one name it could be. I didn't even need to ask what the name was. I'm sure she'll be delighted with it. I could imagine Chief Inspector Manai's face looking bright red as she tried to hide her embarrassment and act like she wasn't interested, and it made me smile for a moment.
おや赤坂さん、ここにいましたか。
Oh, Kasuka-san, you're here too.
まどかちゃんも
And Madoka-chan as well.
大石さん。
Oh, Oishi-san. Oishi-san came into the break room to buy some cigarettes. Madoka-san returned his greeting with a smile, then whispered to me, still a secret to everyone. And then she adjusted the hem of her skirt as she stood up.
それじゃあ赤坂さん、またね。
Alright, Kasuka-san. See you later.
クラちゃんもね。
You too, Kuro-chan.
良いお年を。
Yeah, have a good year. A faint smell of perfume wafted over as Madoka-san left the break room. After watching her leave, Oishi pulled a cigarette from his breast pocket and lit it.
何はともあれ、あの子が元気になってくれてほっとしましたよ。
Anyway, I'm relieved that she's doing better.
あなたも心配でしたが、彼女もひどく憔悴して。
I was worried about you too, but she had it the hardest.
本気でお姉さんの後を追うんじゃないかって気をつけてたくらいでしたからね。
I wanted to be sure she wouldn't follow after her sister.
まどかさんは強い女性ですよ。
Madoka-san is a strong woman.
南井警部の妹さんですから。
She's Chief Inspector Manai's little sister, after all.
全くです。
Of course. Oishi-san strongly nodded in agreement. As he said that, the look in his face indicated that he had something to discuss.
それで大石さん、彼女の具合は。
So, Oishi-san, how is the girl feeling?
自傷行為で多少の怪我を負っていますが、捜査に支障はありません。
She has minor self-inflicted injuries, but nothing that would slow down the investigation.
もっとも、私が行った時はそれでよく眠っていましたけどね。
Though, she was asleep when I visited her earlier, thanks to all the medication she's taking. The girl he was talking about was Natsumi Kimiyoshi-san. After securing her from the crime scene at the Kimiyoshi house, she was taken to the police hospital under strict guard. Unfortunately, Kanoa-san ordered me to prepare a report for the director as soon as possible, so I asked Oishi-san and Detective Fujita to handle the questioning of Natsumi-san.
そういえば例の畠山葵もその病院に入院しているんですよね。
Come to think of it, isn't that the same hospital Aoi Hatakeyama was admitted to?
別室ですがね。
Yes, although she's in a separate room.
君吉夏美ですが、藤田刑事の話では受け答えもはっきりしていて協力的だとのことです。
Anyway, Detective Fujita tells me that Natsumi Kimiyoshi has been clear and cooperative in answering our questions.
ただ、自分のしでかしたことについては今一つ理解ができていないようなんですよ。
However, it seems that she doesn't understand anything she did. Huh?
殺人のことを覚えていないのですか？
You mean she doesn't remember the murders?
まあ彼女の言うには気がついたらこの病院でここ数日間の記憶が断片的になくなっているとのことでして。
Well, according to her, she awoke in this hospital, only to find that her memories of the past few days were fragmented.
尋問のやり方を何度か変えて試してみても同じ回答です。
We've tried several different interrogation approaches, but our answer is always the same.
しかも話が一貫している。
Not only that, but her story is consistent.
意図して嘘を言っているようには見えないんですよ。
It doesn't seem like she's intentionally lying about it.
何ですか？それは。
What does that mean? I was completely stunned by how much that information seemed to contradict the facts.
犯行現場の状況から考えても、君吉夏美が犯人であることは間違いないはずです。
Based on the state of the crime scene, there should be no doubt that Natsumi Kimiyoshi is the culprit.
鑑識もそういう判断でしたよね。
The forensics team came to the same conclusion, didn't they?
凶器には彼女の血まみれの手形がしっかり残っていたと。
They said her bloody fingerprints were left clearly on the murder weapon.
それなんですがね、赤坂さん。
About that, Akasuka-san.
私たちひょっとしたら考え違いをしていたんじゃないかって思うんですよ。
I'm thinking we may have made a misunderstanding of sorts.
君吉夏美が感情的に両親や祖母を惨殺したってことをね。
Natsumi Kimiyoshi definitely murdered her parents and her grandmother in an emotional outburst.
考え違い？
Misunderstanding?
どういうことですか？
What do you mean? Oishi-san seemed like he still didn't understand himself. He crushed a cigarette in the ashtray and lit a second one. Then closed his eyes and carefully chose the words before speaking to me.
やあね。
Well,
赤坂さんの推理通り、彼女は確かに両親に対して激しい感情を抱き続けていた。
just as you deduced, Akasuka-san, she certainly held intense emotions toward her parents.
で、それを抑制していた薬が切れたことで、バーンとやっちゃった。
And her medication was suppressing those emotions, so when it ran out, bang, she blew up.
それは間違いないと思うんですが、
I don't think that's wrong, but
二つに分かれていたのは感情だけの話じゃなかったんじゃないかってね。
I'm also thinking her emotions weren't the only thing being split off.
感情以外って例えば
Other than emotions, like what?
つまり記憶。
Specifically, her memories.
もっと言えば人格ってやつも二つに分かれていたんじゃないかって。
You might even go as far to say that her personality was split in two.
記憶と人格が二つに。
Her memories and her personality were split in two? Even I had a hard time accepting Oishi-san's theory. That was only natural, because if what he said was correct, then that meant Natsumi Kimiyoshi suffered from dual personality disorder, essentially having two independent personalities coexisting in a single body.
そんなバカな。
That's ridiculous.
二重人格なんてそれこそ空想の中の話でしょ。
Aren't split personalities the sort of thing you read about in stories?
一人の人間の中に二つの人格が存在するなんて。
In reality,
現実にはそんなこと。
there's no such thing as two personalities in a single person.
いえね、山沖所長の紹介で精神科医に確認してきたんですが、どうやらあり得るらしいんですよ。
Actually, Chief Yamaoki introduced me to a psychiatrist who indicated that it all seemed entirely possible.
いわゆる精神疾患の一種ですがね、激しい感情を抱き続ける自分自身を嫌悪するあまり、脳がそれを自分以外の誰かだと判断して分離しちゃうってわけです。
It's a type of mental illness where the person in question has a strong enough sense of self-loathing toward their negative emotions that the brain can rationalize that part of itself as a separate entity to segregate itself from it.
実際に事例もあるそうです。
There are actually several reported cases of this. In a sense, you could call it a form of escapism. Much like how every human being has an innate desire to be great, to be the hero or heroine of their own story, they also wish to be their ideal self. However, in most cases, people get disappointed by the gap between reality and their ideals, compromise, and learn what ideas and actions are socially acceptable or not. However, if that gap is too severe, the person can refuse to accept reality, isolating themselves from society by immersing in their ideals. That's escapism. And that's possible even within an individual, the smallest society there is. In other words, in order to live up to their ideals and rid themselves of their jealousy, hatred, malice, etc., they can decide that those dark emotions belong to a separate entity. As a result, all those negative thoughts and memories are thrust upon this other person that they subconsciously constructed, and they can enjoy the satisfaction that what remains meets their ideals.
まあそれならまだ可愛いもんなんですがね。
Well, it's all fine and good up until that point.
問題は押し付けたもう一人にもちゃんと自我があるってことです。
The problem is, this other person that all the problems are pushed onto develops its own sense of self.
ですから黒い方が逆に白い方を偽物と決めつけたらマイナス感情を持つことが理想的だと考えるようになる。
So, if the dark persona decides that the light persona is the imposter, it'll start to think that those dark emotions are its true ideals.
それを繰り返しているうちにいつしか記憶と人格も全く別物に分離しちゃうんだそうです。
If that keeps going on long enough, the memories and personalities might become completely separated from one another.
で、ここで出てくるのが例の薬です。
So, this is where that medicine comes in.
以前は君吉夏美の激しい感情をその薬で抑えつけているって話でした。
The story we've been told is that Natsumi Kimiyoshi has been taking that medicine to suppress her intense emotions.
しかし彼女が記憶と人格を2つ所有していたのだとしたら問題は変わってくる。
However, she has two completely independent personalities with their own sets of memories. That changes things.
もともと欧米では禁止されているほどの強い薬だそうですからね。
This medicine is so strong that it apparently was prohibited in the West.
で、その薬ってやつが黒い方の衝動を解消する効能ではなく、むしろ白い方で溜まりそうになっていた衝動を黒い方に押し合って。
So, maybe this medicine didn't actually eliminate the impulses of her dark side, but instead pushed those piling impulses away from her light side and onto her dark side. It's some Ventus, Vanitas, lights are pure light being, pure dark being type shit.
見えないように蓋をする役割を果たしていたのだとしたらどうなりますか?
Inside of you are two wolves. If it served as a sort of lid to keep those emotions from ever being seen, what would happen?
黒に溜まった感情はどんどん増大していきます。
The emotions accumulating on the dark side would grow, bigger and bigger.
そして何かのきっかけで人格が反転したとき、それらが一気に爆発する。
And if some event caused the personalities to switch, they would explode right away.
大雨の時のダムと同じです。
Just like a dam bursting under a heavy rainstorm.
ですからそのダムが一度決壊すれば鉄砲水で全て押し流してしまう。
And once the dam breaks, it'll sweep everything away in a flash flood.
しかも爆発したのは黒い方ですから白い方は反転している時のことは全く覚えていない。
And not only that, but since the dark side is the one that exploded, the light side doesn't remember anything about what happened when they were switched.
それどころか自分が殺した相手に対し殺意を持っていたことも知らないまま。
Quite the opposite. They would even know what they had murderous intent within them. They wouldn't even know they had murderous intent within them.
そう考えると今までの辻褄が合うんですよ。
Thinking about that way, everything up until now adds up.
じゃあ、あの薬は治療薬なんかじゃなく、むしろ。
Then, that medicine isn't a cure, but actually...
人を鬼に変える悪魔の薬ですよ。
It makes people transform into demons. It's a diabolical medicine. After hearing those words from Oishi-san, I felt completely aghast and lost my voice. Then, could this medicine have a larger role in the tragedies we've seen thus far? And if so, who created this medicine? Where did it come from? Unraveling one mystery only led to another mystery, taunting and laughing at us.
以上です。
That's all.
ご協力ありがとうございました。
Thank you for your cooperation.
はい。
Of course.
何か必要なものがありましたら遠慮なく言ってください。
If you need anything else, don't hesitate to ask.
食事はあと2時間後に病院食が出ますので。
Hospital meals will be served 2 hours from now.
あ、
Asumi looked up at the female detective standing next to her with a shy and embarrassed look on her face. Then,
お手洗い行ってもいいですか？
would it be okay if I went to the bathroom?
え？
Huh?
ああ、どうぞ案内するわ。
No problem. I can show you the way. Natsumi deeply bowed her head while saying thank you very much, then hopped off the bed and put on her slippers. As they watched that, Detective Fujita and Detective Hanada couldn't help but feel uncomfortable.
なあ、花田。
Hey, Hanada,
なんだ、
what is it?
本当にあの子が両親と祖母を殺したのかな？
Did this girl really kill her parents and grandmother? Of course, both of them knew it was an undeniable fact. Still, it was hard to believe that a pretty, youthful girl with those big, soft eyes could dirty her hands with murder.
もっと凶暴な感じとか、血が凍ってるような冷たい印象だったら、こっちも遠慮なくガンガン出ることができるんだけどな。
If she gave off a more violent impression, if just looking at her made my blood run cold, I could leave this place without a second thought.
あんな小動物みたいな女の子だと調子が狂うよ。
But it's maddening to see this girl like a cute little animal instead.
人は見かけによらないってことさ。
You can't judge people by their appearance.
お前の奥さんでも本当のところはわからんぞ。
Really, just think of your wife.
バカ野郎。それはお前も同じだろうが。
I could say the same about you, jackass.
そうだな。
Yeah.
人間の正体なんて本人でもない限りわかるわけねえか。
You can't truly understand any human being other than yourself, I suppose.
おいおい、冗談だっての。
Come on, I was joking around.
奥さんと喧嘩でもしたのか？
Did you just have a fight with your wife or something? Fujita joked as he glanced at his wristwatch. They had another 2 hours before they could switch with Oishi and Akaska. For now, the two of them had time to kill, so they decided to chat about upcoming investigation activities and various other topics. A gun reloaded. Then I entered the private rooms and locked the door behind me. Even though she was also woman. Yeah, it just says even though she was also woman. Unga bunga. Not even that police officer followed me inside. I didn't have any particular reason for coming here. I just wanted to spend some time alone. My mind was still foggy. I couldn't really remember what happened to my body at all. What am I even doing inside this hospital in the first place?
病院嫌いなんだけど。
I hate hospitals. I thought back to 3 years ago. I was hospitalized for anemia back then, and I spent 2 months there, undergoing all sorts of tests before they let me go. Come to think of it, what kind of testing was it? Can't remember much of anything about my hospitalization. At any rate, I wonder why my family isn't coming. Dad probably can't make it because he's busy with work, but Mom and Grandma should be able to come. There's no use thinking about it, and if I stay in here too long, the detectives will start to worry. Actually, why are there detectives in my hospital room in the first place? Huh? As soon as I opened the door of the private room, I immediately froze when I discovered a humanoid shadow standing in front of me. Huh? Looking more closely, it was a girl wearing cute pajamas. She innocently smiled as she tilted her head and looked up at me.
あなたは
Who are you?
お姉ちゃんがそうなんだね。
You're just like me, huh?
私が何を
I'm what?
そうなんでしょ
Isn't that so?
お姉ちゃんパパとママを殺したんでしょ
Sis, you killed your mom and papa, didn't you? Oh, what the fuck? Uh-oh.
え
Oh no. Huh? Suddenly, This innocuous girl was able to say such a terrible thing without a second thought. For a moment, I doubted my ears. What is this girl? This killing she just mentioned. Who?
別に隠さなくてもいいよ。お姉ちゃんって
You don't need
人
to.
殺しなんだよね。
You don't need to hide it, sis. You're a murderer, right?
何を言って。
What are you saying?
私もお姉ちゃんと同じだよ。
You and I are the same, aren't we?
パパとママのことずっと前から大嫌い。だ
Mama and Papa. I've hated them for a long time.
っていつもああしろこうしろってうるさくて。
They were always so annoying, ordering me around all the time.
おじいちゃんが来てからは喧嘩ばっかり。
And since Grandpa came home, they've always been fighting.
そのせいで私、友達からもいじめられて、お化け屋敷に住んでるお化けだって言われて。
Thanks to that, my friends bullied me. They said I was a ghost living in a haunted house.
それでも私が我慢してるのに、健太郎は全然泣き止まないし。
Even so, I tried to put up with it, but Kentaro just wouldn't stop crying.
家族って邪魔だよね。
Family's just hold you
どん
back.
なに嫌いになってもずっとそばに居続けるんだもん。
Families just hold you back, don't they? No matter how much you hate them, they'll be with you for the rest of your life.
それこそ殺さない限り。
That is, unless someone killed them, right?
だから殺したんでしょ。
So you killed them, didn't you?
お姉ちゃんが
Sis?
出なきゃここに入院するわけないもんね。
Why else would you be in this hospital?
たくさんの刑事さんたちに見張られて
With all these detectives watching over you.
いろいろ調べられたり検査されたりして。
With you being subjecting to various inspections and exams.
ね、そうなんでしょ。
Don't you see?
違う。私は
Who the hell at the hospital or with the investigation team let these two mix like this? This seems like a bad oversight. You're wrong.
怖がることなんてないよ。
There's nothing to be afraid of.
だってお姉ちゃん何度も頭の中で繰り返してたじゃない。
Because it's been repeating in your head so many times, hasn't it?
人を殺す夢、真っ赤な血の中で楽しそうに笑い転げる夢。
A dream where you kill them, smiling and laughing while covered in bright red blood?
先生からさっき連絡がありました。
I got a message from your teacher earlier.
あなた、私たちに内緒でアルバイトをしていたんだって？
You had a part-time job and you kept it secret from us. When I heard that, I froze. I knew it. That teacher broke her promise after all. She told me, I won't tell your parents, and I believed her.
どうなの、夏美。
What do you have to say, Natsumi?
黙っていてもわからないでしょ。
I won't understand unless you say something, right?
どういう理由があるのか知らないけど、親に無断でアルバイトなんて一体何を考えてるの？
I don't know what your reason is, but why on earth did you think it was a good idea to take on a part-time job without your parents' permission?
私だって
I was...
お小遣いだってちゃんとあげてるでしょ。
I give you a proper allowance, don't I?
どうしてお金が必要だったのか言えば、お母さんだってちゃんと相談に乗るのに。
If you told me why you needed the money, I might have been willing to help.
隠れてこそこそしてたら、まるで悪いことしてるみたいに見えるじゃない。
But when you sneak around and keep secrets, it looks like you're up to no good.
まさかあなた、佐伯さんや牧村さんに影響されて、変なお金の使い方を覚えたんじゃないでしょうね。
I bet Saeki-san and Makamura-san were responsible for this. Did they feed you strange ideas about how to use money?
いけませんよ、無駄遣いは。
You can't squander money.
お父さんやおばあちゃんは甘いから気にはしないんでしょうけど、お母さんは許しませんからね。
Dad and Grandma might be kind enough to look past this, But do you expect me to be so forgiving? To be so forgiving? Said that weird.
ねえ夏美
Hey, Natsumi.
お母さんはあなたのことを思って注意してるんだからね
You understand that I'm thinking of you and looking out for you, right?
あなたも君吉の家の娘として
Because you too are a daughter of the Kimiyoshi family.
ちょっと聞いてるの夏美
Hey, are you even listening, Natsumi? The very next morning, my racing emotions and shattering heart suddenly became colorless, transparent. The thoughts in my head cleared up. I wasn't angry. I wasn't afraid. Sorrow, suffering, guilt, gratitude, despair. I felt none of them. Everything intricately mixed together. The vectors in my mind coalesced on one thing. Who? Who asked me to be a part of this family? When did you ask me to become a member of the Kimiyoshi family? Do you seriously believe I would have wanted to be born a Hinamizawan? Tap. I've suffered excruciating hardship since I came to the city, thanks to being born and raised in the countryside. Tap. Tap. And thanks to that great disaster, I've had to keep secrets I didn't want to bear and make great efforts to maintain them to hide my connection to those freaks. Tap. 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 There's nothing for it. I was trying so hard, but Hinamizawa ruined everything. The three families, Oyashiro-sama, the curse, like I care about any of that. Hinamizawa hasn't given me anything. It gave me that horrible disaster, that's it. If only I wasn't from Hinamizawa, I'd be treating everyone normally, without having to bear all these inferiority complexes and obligations. I'd be playing with my friends like normal, struggling to improve my grades like normal, and finding a person to fall in love with like normal. It's all Hinamizawa's fault. My happiness, efforts, and dreams have all gone up in smoke because I grew up in that wretched place. If that's the case... If that's the case, I don't need this anymore. It should all go away. Disappear! Natsumi? Where do you think you're going? I was still talking to... Stop it, Natsumi. What are you thinking? Stop! That's a lot. Haruko. What's wrong? I heard a word scream. That's a lot. I'm home. I hope no one's in a very stabby mood right now. Huh? What's the smell? Hey, Haruko. What the? They're really getting their money's worth out of that stab sound effect. Our heart was beating against the inside of my chest hard enough to shatter it. What did I see just now? Was that a dream? Or was that the wish I was always hoping for? So? If you're going to run away, now's your chance. Run away? Why?
What? お姉ちゃんまだ殺し足りないって顔してるよ
Because, sis, you have the look of someone who isn't done killing.
まだいるんでしょ
Isn't there still someone
殺したい人。
that you want to kill? Oh, come to think of it, I remembered. Yeah, I just remembered. How could I forget? I'm such an idiot. That stupid detective interrupted my precious plan before I was finished. Well then, what am I going to do about him? Kill him? No, that's no good. Absolutely not. I won't kill Totokun, because I don't want to give him another reason to hate me. In that case, who? Who should I take with me? That's obvious. It's her, of course. She wasn't that badly injured, so she's still out there. The one taking my happiness from me. Her. Ah! That's right. She's still out there. What is this? Go, 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 go. It's like I imagine like a Regigigas noise.
君吉さん
Sound effect. Kimiyoshi-san?
どうしました君吉さん
What's going on, Kimiyoshi-san?
しまった
Damn it!
すぐに署に連絡急げ
Hurry! Contact the station right away! See, I hate to put blame on someone here, but this seems like a failing on the hospital and the police team's side here. This, like, allowing her just freedom, apparently enough to escape like this? Insane. Insane.
みんな死んじゃえ。
Everyone must die. Also, Aoi becoming like a minor character here. Bigger impact. Interesting. Oh, we get a tip to finish this part of the stream. We'll read this. Nightmare. Nightmare. Oh, happy music. Oh man, after all that depressing shit. I only recently learned that a rifle isn't a toy that should be handled by children. My parents were talking about an international shooting competition while watching the news on TV, and I casually asked,
ねえ、ライフルってそんなに危ないの？
Hey, are rifles that dangerous?
私は使っちゃいけないの？
Does that mean I'm not supposed to use them? Of course, my parents laughed and I said I was still too young for that. But I really wanted to shoot a rifle. I understood that it was dangerous and it was something that shouldn't be in the hands of children, but I thought that if I could handle it well in front of adults, it would prove to them that I'm more amazing than the other kids. Then, a few days later, I went out with my father on one of his hunting trips, and I insisted that he let me hold the rifle and teach me how to shoot. Then, I carefully listened to what my father told me, tried it out, and I was able to shoot game prey right from the onset.
すごいぞ葵
That's amazing, Aoi.
お前の年でライフルをここまで上手に扱える子は絶対にいないぞ
I've never seen a child handle rifles so well at your age.
こりゃ将来はオリンピック選手間違いなしだな
You could be an Olympic athlete in the future, no doubt about it. Though I answered with a smile and a laugh, I was thinking about something else. Just as I thought, I'm different from the other kids. I've always wondered why playing ball or playing with dolls was supposed to be fun, but this is proof that I'm special. It's proof that I'm more like an adult. So, there's nothing those damn kids can make fun of me about. He. Ah, ha 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 ha. To tell the truth, I've always been infuriated at the boys who thoughtlessly badmouthed me over Hinamizawa, and at the girls watching who made no effort to stop it, who just laughed with a serves you right grin on their faces. When they notice a moment of weakness, they rush right in. The worst kind of people, the ones who aren't satisfied unless they use others as stepping stones to achieve greatness. I guess they find me an easy target, and with how I stick out like a sore thumb in class, I can't compete against the others in grades. And, even after having a consultation with the teacher about it, my parents just gave me a shallow warning and didn't do anything about it. So, I made up my mind. Nobody's going to help me. Nobody is going to lend a hand. If anything, they'll only get in the way. In that case, I'll do it myself. I'm sure I can do it. Besides, unlike them, I have a powerful weapon at my disposal. I won't let them make a fool of me any longer. The people who don't understand my greatness can all just disappear. I opened the closet and took the rifle out from the back. Then, I got the bullets out of the safe, using the key I took from my parents' room. Somehow, it felt lighter than before. Well, let's do this. Shooting a person with their feet on the ground should be easier than shooting a bird in flight. And then, I'll be able to grab a hold of my happiness with my own hands.
Aoi?
Oh, Aoi.
何をしてるの?
What are you doing? Mom, you're standing in my way too? Do you hate me? Lovely. That just honestly a couple of lovely stretches of reading here. Nothing bad happening. Jesus. I agree, it does look like it's pretty close to ending. I think this is gonna... This feels like it's gonna probably be finished in like another stream or two. Alright, I'm gonna take the quickest BRB. I'm gonna get Death Stranding set up, and we're gonna do that for the rest of the day / night. At some point, especially if I want to play Death Stranding for a while, I'm gonna have to do something about food, but I'll figure that out in the next couple hours. But I'm gonna get it all set up. I'm gonna go to the restroom and get some water and stuff, and then I will have that loaded up, so I'll be back shortly.